And I hope you had a good Labor Day. It's Monday night, still here in quarantine. Quarantine, Con Carne, Car Con Carne. I'm James Van Alstel, and the show is sponsored by C&H Financial Services. C&H offers a variety of products ranging from traditional merchant accounts to a zero-cost payment processing solution, which eliminates the expenses tied to accepting credit cards. C&H also offers cost-effective commercial lending programs, which can help you get your business the money it needs to make it through these unprecedented times. To learn more, and you should, contact C&H Financial Services at 855-600-2437 or go to chfs.us. So what was only 6 months ago feels like 5 years ago. I had this gentleman in the car with me. He is artist Chris Pienta, who holds the distinction of being the last guest to date to appear in my car before the pandemic.
Yes,
So here's some perspective. This is episode 446 of Car Con Carne. You were last on episode 313 6 months ago. That's how much time has passed. When I switched to a nightly model after we met.
Yeah.
And I just started doing this from home. It does seem like forever ago, and it's so weird. I remember.
Years.
So we did our thing at Lagunitas in March.
Yeah.
It was like March 11th. March 11th or 12th. Yeah.
12th. I think it was the 11th.
I mean, it was right before everything just rolled up.
Yeah, everything. The world.
And I remember feeling weird about shaking people's hands.
Yep.
I had hand sanitizer in the car. It was weird. And yeah, we did our thing at Lagunitas, and shortly thereafter, everything fell apart. So
chicken wing, what was it was awkward.
It was. So nice to see you again. I'm glad you're healthy and well.
Yes.
And I thought this would be a fun one. And I've got to do my best for people who listen and don't watch the video. I want to be able to describe everything we're seeing. You do fantastic artwork. I love the work you do. In fact, over my left shoulder is the portrait you made of me, which is fantastic. Thank you. It's a little weird.
They're a masterpiece, man. They're a masterpiece.
But I thought because we have this moment and people are at home, I thought we'd kind of roll through a bunch of your artwork. So you sent me a bunch of files of your original stuff. I want to talk about what goes into the creation of those pieces. I want to talk about those pieces. I want to talk about the artists who inspire those pieces. And I figured this would just be kind of loose. We're going to talk about music and art.
I love it.
Yeah, it works for me.
All right, again, let's do
it. So again, you are Chris Pienta. And for people who are interested in having a Chris Pienta original in their home, let's get that out of the way right away. Where do people find you, buy your stuff?
There's a couple different spots right now. Obviously, you can do the Instagram, which is Chris Pienta Art. I'll put a link to that at the end. In the Instagram, there's a link to the shop. So it's Team Pienta Shop. That's where you can find all the fun stuff and all the new drops and all that things. Like we got 2 drops coming out, which I'm sure we'll get to. Then besides that, you can follow me on Facebook. Facebook connects you to the fan pages. That there's some like secret groups, if you will, so you can get early drops and things like that. Yeah.
Why I'm not part of the secret groups.
There's a couple of things I got to add you to, as a matter of fact. So
what the fuck? This interview's over. We're done.
All right, I'll see you guys. But yeah, no, all those places, and then from there, I mean, honestly, you can connect with me real easily. You can message me anytime. I'm real accessible. I get back to you when I can, and I love getting hit up from people asking me for pieces. So I mean,
I bet.
Anytime, bring it on.
So what caught my eye with your work, and I probably mentioned this back in March, but who can remember what happened 6 months ago? I mean, you focus on these iconic faces, these iconic musicians, pop culture people, moments in time. It got me thinking, we're in a period of zero rock stars.
Yeah.
Like the people who you feature are instantly recognizable, whether it's here. I'm going to share the Cornell picture real quick.
Okay.
Cornell or even Dave Grohl, and going back to some of the artists we'll see tonight, we're in a weird era where there aren't as instantly recognizable people in music.
There really isn't.
It's not just me, right?
No. I mean, faces. Just you hear a band name, sure, but faces there's not many rock stars out there. Right? I mean, it's sad to say. I mean, right now there's more up there than there are with us. So it's rough. But that's why I try to keep them alive. Try to keep especially like it's nice when I do these things, like my little cousins or nephew, mate, my niece and nephew. Who's that? You get to kind of introduce them to new people through the
Yeah.
artwork too. So, but yeah, Cornell.
So yeah, I'm showing the Cornell piece on here, and there's so much to talk about. The nuance you put into your portraits. I feel like yes, it's Chris Cornell. Yes, it's instantly obviously him. It's the long-haired Chris Cornell. It's the
Yes,
early bad motor finger
you got it.
Chris Cornell. But your choices of color in your portraits, it's not just a straightforward portrait. I feel like there's some thoughtfulness in the backgrounds and the colors you use for each piece.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot. A lot of time it takes me more just to figure out how to put a piece together to actually make the piece than the time it's on to actually make it. So I'm always always trying to do different color schemes. I like vibrant colors, like things to pop, obviously, like with your portrait too, and in this, color's just the way to go. Initially, like when it came to music, I started with the 60s. I loved all 60s music. Like where I grew up, because of my old man, like the first concert I ever went to was the Stones. So just because, so since then it was all rock and roll debauchery for a long time there. But because of the 60s and that style of poster and just that psychedelic era, that kind of style and that genre always just, that's what I like to promote. That's what I like to do.
Makes sense.
So, yeah.
So the Cornell picture, you have the right side of his face kind of awash in red light. He's purple hued. It's almost like an Aladdin Sane.
Amen. A little bit of our boy. So,
and his hair. I want to, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, note all the different color going on in his hair. All the different
as many colors as possible.
Oranges, the greens, the whites. Really, once you zero in on it, it's hard to take your eyes off of it. Really cool stuff.
If you get it in person too, a lot of this, like this behind him up here, it's actually a gold sparkle. A lot of this in his hair is all metallics. So when you like, again, I hear people say it all the time, but pictures don't do it justice. But in this instance, man, I wish, when people get stuff in the hand, it looks so much more better than it does. And granted, this looks amazing, don't get me wrong, but this is one of my favorites that I've done personally too. So,
all right. So talking about color. So we're showing, for those listening, we're showing Jimi Hendrix, and this is totally psychedelic. First of all, you've got angel wings, which are kind of a subtle accent over his shoulders.
Yes.
Intentional. Jimmy's in heaven.
You got it. And one of my favorite songs by Hendrix is Angel. So for me personally, it's just a little bit of me getting thrown into that too. So, but I do so many Jimmys. Jimmy's my favorites of all time, just like many people out there. But I do a lot of Jimmy work, and this one's actually a print too. So the original's here, but there's a bunch of these prints that we made, and these are actually on blotter paper. So works out nicely for anybody that wants to, acid
tune in and drop out. Yeah,
of course. But hey, you can change that easily.
I love it. So again, the accents on the hair, it's just the detail and the feature there. And his coat is just vibrant. So again, for people who are listening, it's like a turquoise blue coat, like a darker hue of that, but the accents on this kind of like ringmaster jacket are all bright yellow and orange, and he's got this cool blue scarf with like a ruby, and it's just, there's so much going on here.
It's an iconic intro Jimmy, and I try to throw my own splash to it. So that's why the regular coat's all purple mainly, pretty much. So you got to make it your own. And this one is actually all inks besides the wings in the background. The wings in the background are spray paint, stencil work. And then him himself, it's all hand-drawn inks. So it's all alcohol ink.
I love it. So one thing I've been wondering, looking at your stuff for a while now, do you draw off of one specific image, or do you kind of composite? Like when you look at like a Dave Grohl or a Lemmy, do you just kind of gather together a bunch of different images in your head and build an image from that composite in your mind?
Well, when I first started, obviously I'd have to pull up a bunch of images, and I would literally just pick one and go with it. So but then as you progress, I get older, and I figured out how to do things myself. Like Jimmy's a guy where I don't have to look at anything now. I can just draw Jimi Hendrix. Like when it comes to like Jimi Hendrix, Grohl, Bowie, those are guys, the Beatles, the Stones. I do so many of Morrison that now I have so many images already in my head. You can just pick up the markers and start going at it. So But every now and then, don't get me wrong, I'm always searching for new images. It's always I'm a big guy at the bookstore. I'm one of the guys who still goes to bookstores. So I love just going through old magazines, old books, all that good stuff, just finding iconic images and stuff I've never seen before. So that's where I find a lot of my things.
I will tell you, one of my absolute favorite magazines, I think you would dig it, is Classic Rock magazine from the UK. It's a British music magazine. It is absolutely fantastic.
What is it called?
Classic Rock.
Oh, just called Classic Rock.
So they've got articles, historical pieces, and all these, long beloved bands, but they track all the new bands that kind of fit in the style and vein of the bands that came before.
Oh, I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's fantastic stuff. All right, so I'm showing a bunch of stuff, or I just pulled up a bunch of files, individual pieces onto the Facebook Live.
Okay.
I don't know if I can make this any bigger. That's what she said. And yeah, I'm here all night. Really, I'm here every night.
Your waitress.
Yeah, that's right. The first one is quintessential Dave Grohl.
You got it.
This one's
stencil work. This one's all stencil work. So this was like a 4-layer stencil that I drew and put together.
This is again, going back to the idea of being thoughtful about what's in the background. What led you to choose the background you have for this Dave Grohl picture?
There's a couple different ones. I just love the background on this. I've used this background on several different images. It's just classy, and I love the gold red combo. I love gold red and a gold blue combo. For some reason, it's one of my favorites. But when it comes to Grohl, there's so many different backgrounds I could put for this guy. Like this one's iconic. There's another one I believe around here. I call it. Oh, here, hold on. See, same image.
Nice.
I call this one Chain Dave. So this was literally just chain link. I laid in the background, sprayed it down, and then put my images on it. So
that's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Now this is one of my favorite pieces of yours, by far, no question about it. The mighty Lemmy from Motorhead.
Oh God, amen. Just a bad dude, such a cool dude. Oh yeah, he's one of my favorites. Always has been, and his image is just so iconic. It's so powerful. Like as soon as you see that, it's like, oh, that's Lemmy. Like even if you're not into music at all, everybody knows that guy.
Rock star. Let's again talk about the background here.
Definition.
What do you use for that? It's not
so for this one, this was done on canvas paper. This was canvas work, and in the background I started with, it was just red, the like, if you will, blood splatter. It wasn't there initially. It was just a red background, and then I started with him, and then I don't know, it was done. It just had the red on it, and I just felt like it wasn't complete. It just needed a little bit more edginess, I guess you would say. So that's when I started doing my splatter work. I love splattering stuff, like just give that little extra, oomph to it. So just a little bit, and it brought it together. Like after I splattered that stuff, I was like, all right, done.
I think one of the many things, besides loving Motorhead, but one of the many things I like about this is the fact that the portrait isn't centered. It's you've got all this space. Free
space. And there's a couple reasons that I do that too. I personally just like things to be off center, just a little different, But then what happens is if like I decide to make this into a print, it allows me the room up here to people like, give me your favorite song. I'll write the lyrics up there. Give me your favorite, So it allows me to have room to work with for somebody who wants something in the future.
That's cool. Okay. Tell me about this.
Basquiat, one of my favorites, a huge influence of mine. Just I've watched so many documentaries on him. It's an amazing talent. I mean, obviously gone too soon, but just a tortured soul that had such beautiful, beautiful work. And his ideas, a lot of people look at it. There's a lot of my friends who aren't really into the art scene. They see it and they're like, well, that looks like something that, a kid could do. Well, yeah, sure. But it's coming from a different place. It's coming from inside. Like he is a child at heart. And, you can see it in his work. Besides just that child factor, there's so many different themes that he always has in his work too that I love. So then his work when he did it with Andy Warhol, some of my favorite combinations ever. And if you ever watch the documentaries on those two guys, just the way they go back and forth, he's iconic. He'll always be one of my favorites. He'll always be. And that face, again, it's one of those images that as soon as you see it, you know who that is. So
100%.
100%. Oh, Jesse. Eagles death metal, dude.
So this is clearly one of your favorite bands.
I love the Eagles of Death Metal. I know I love that whole. I call it the rock and roll family. That whole Eagles of Death Metal, Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, them freaking Vultures. That whole group of guys, they're just awesome. And this dude is just one of the coolest dudes I've come in contact with during this whole art stuff. So he's just he's just a positive guy. I watched the documentary. You ever seen the documentary when they played in France when all that crazy stuff happened?
No.
Oh, whew. You gotta check it out. I'll send you a link to it. But just you get to know him and the band at such a more personal level, and he's just a beautiful soul. You know, he really is. He really is. And the story about how Eagles came together, like Josh Homme helping him out, and Josh and him were boys. And the story, I won't get into it. You know, it's his story to tell. But I tell you guys to check it out, how Eagles of Death Metal started. Wacko Jacko. So, yeah, this one's all inks. Jack Nicholson, one of the baddest dudes on the planet, in my opinion.
And one of the most expressive faces in the history of Hollywood.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he doesn't have to say a word, and you know what's going on in that guy's head. Mm-hmm. You know, if he should run or you could laugh. With this one, I tried to do Joker colors. I went with try to do purple and the green in the background. So I did him, but with Joker colors is what I was going with. So yeah, that was my idea on that guy.
So is he your Joker from the movie Batman?
Man, you know, he is my Joker. I'll say that. Although Heath was amazing and Phoenix was also, but I just feel like it's three different movies. Like it's three different Jokers is the way I see it. So, I mean, if I'm being honest, Cesar Romero is one of my favorite. Like Batman 66 is my favorite Batman. So give me Adam West any day.
The Thin White Duke. I mentioned Aladdin Sane earlier. Here we've got Bowie circa Ziggy.
You got it. And then Bowie now.
I love it. Or Bowie recently-ish.
Recently, I shouldn't say now. Yes, more recently. But yeah, this was actually this is a big canvas I did. I think this was like 3 foot by 4 foot, somewhere around there. Just, you know, another one of the, I just like doing my own thing. I like to do this kind of deal. Like I said, initially I started off with just Bowie down in the corner, and then gave me time to step back, figure out what I wanted to do. And because I left all that room to play with, it gave me the room to add the giant face.
Well, and here's what I love about it. You've got this kind of celestial thing going on, which suggests Starman.
Galaxy all around him.
Yeah. You've got that going on, which also suggests that he's, you know, in another cosmos or another plane altogether right now.
He didn't die, he just went home. That's what we say, you know.
This is pretty cool. And you know I'm a huge Bowie fan. In fact,
I know.
Bowie prints. Tell me about
Eagles
this.
Eagles of Death Metal. Eagles of Death Metal. Okay. So, but that's Josh and Jesse together. So Baby Duck and Boots Electric, as they go by, a.k.a. Josh's Baby Duck, Jesse's Boots. So this is something I came up with for fun. This was just like the image I got off an old school, I couldn't even tell you what year it was from, some X-rated magazine from like 1956. It was in one of those Pawn Stars, and I was literally going through it. I was like, that's an image that needs to be done now. So
that's amazing.
That's what I put together.
You can find inspiration from any number of places, including old porn.
Oh, amen. Amen. All day. So
can I get an amen? Anywhere. Pornography. Amen.
Amen. Oh, for Chicago fans, I had to do that just to show that, you know, come on. The Jet and the Man. Yeah. So these are actually prints that are going to come out too. So these are going to be prints, and they're going to be sold as a set. But the Golden Jet, just because it's my old man's favorite hockey player on the planet. So yeah, I do a lot of Bobby Hulls.
Nice.
Yeah, and every time I do one, either my old man will give it away and say you got to make a new one. So yeah, a lot of my uncles own those.
And I like the splashes of red, especially given the big gap where the teeth once were.
Well, it's actually, for him, yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. It's supposed to be like a hockey fight, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's why it's actually 2 separate pieces of paper. It was 1 piece of paper. I just cut it in half, made them separate so they go together with that perforated edge right there. And that's why I did the splatter across to make it look like, okay, that's a cohesive piece.
Got it. Okay, very cool. Oh, look at this.
Brian Jones. Stones are hands down my favorite band on the planet. They have been, as I said, my first concert, and it's my dad's favorite band. So But Brian Jones, I'm a big fan of the early Stones years, like the blues years. Even though he did a lot of covers, then I don't care. They were amazing. And this dude was one of the most talented dudes on the planet. Tragic story, of course. I mean, they say he couldn't handle his drugs, like he couldn't, dive too deep down the rabbit hole or whatever. But I don't know. The man was amazing. He can play every instrument on the planet. And one of the cool things is, if you ever read about it, before he passed, him, Eric Burden, John Lennon, and Jimi Hendrix were going to start a band together. Could you imagine that? Yeah, so that was upsetting. Wish that would have came around. But dude, Brian Jones, just
yeah, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous.
Thank you. Oh yeah, here we go. So we're gonna get to the big piece. This thing is it's the one that's on the wall behind me. Obviously, it's like 5 foot by 4 feet. It's my ode to the '60s, if you will. As I said, when I first started getting into music and art and all that stuff, '60s is the way to go. So this is pretty much all the main influences I can think that throughout my time getting to where I am now. So you got obviously Brian Jones, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards.
Warhol's up there.
Warhol's up there. You're going to see a little bit of Jim in this picture. And there's so many people on this piece, man. I can't even tell you how much time I took to put this guy together. There's so many guys I was figuring out who should be on there. And this is something I don't want to admit, but I called it Flowers in Your Hair. And I forgot to put Scott McKenzie on the damn piece. So I'll work him in there somewhere. But,
can I point out, I just noticed this. There's a little Grim Reaper there in the corner.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of little details. I like to add little things just to surprise people. There's Grim Reapers. There's some alien heads in there. There's a little sun above Jim Morrison, a moon above Andy Warhol. So, yeah, just little things. That's one thing that I try to do. Like, a lot of people say that. You see the image initially, then take your time, get closer, because there's a lot more going on. So, then you got Bob Dylan's here, Janis, Fogerty's right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You got Timothy Leary, obviously. And Easy Rider. You gotta love Fonda. It's one of the iconic movie classic. So, but again, if you notice, there's a whole bunch of stars. There's a little spaceship in there. Dylan's got a cross and a moon on him. So
this is awesome stuff.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Here we go.
Here. Oh, everybody loves this. Bowser doesn't get a lot of love. Bowser deserves a lot more love.
Bowser from Sha-Na-Na.
You got it. Bowser from Sha-Na-Na doesn't get as much love as he deserves. But hey, Joe Cocker, Eric Burden's up there above him. Obviously, the Beatles. And then there's actually, if you look on her shoulder right here, those wings are the same wings that are on the Jimi Hendrix piece.
I was going to ask. Okay.
Behind Jimmy. Yep. Let's see. Down there, you can see Cream's going to start. Yeah, there we go. Down to the left.
This is so incredibly detailed.
Thanks, man.
So this is everything pulled together. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie, Bowie, like I said, Grace Slick's on there. Cream, Stevie Winwood's in there, Syd Barrett's in there, Abby Hoffman's in there, Jimmy's up in the corner. So, yeah. And like I say, and there's so many guys that I was going back and forth, like who should be in there, who should not. That's why Scott McKenzie missed the call, but we'll fit him in there.
That's fantastic.
Thanks, brother.
Okay, hang on. This is
it's my one of my Morrisons. And this one I love because I did it on snakeskin fabric. So I'm always trying to find different ways. Yeah, of course. I'm always trying to find different ways to do it. Different, everybody paints on canvas, sure, but you gotta think outside the box, and I try to do that all the time. And one thing that I do is, which I will give away one of my secrets, is I spend a lot of time in fabric stores. So a lot of my backgrounds and a lot of the designs I come with, I spent so much time in fabric stores. There's an old biker down the block from me, and I always hang out with him. And he says back in the day, they used to find fabric, wrap it around their gas tanks of their bikes, and spray it. And that's how they would get a design on their gas tank. So I just took that, laid it over a canvas, same idea. So, man, Joanne Fabrics has so much of my money lately. I'm telling you. But that's how I come up with all these backgrounds. Just find the right background for the right image. Now, this one, I went into Joanne Fabrics and actually found a whole snakeskin piece. Boom. See, I know we ain't got it, but there we go.
Yes.
You got it all. You got it all. So all just golden snakeskin fabric.
Oh, and there's the lizard.
Yeah. I'll back it up a little bit for you guys. Yeah, check it out.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. No, the lizard, dude, I love that the way that came out. The colors on the lizard. I couldn't be happier with how this piece came out. So, but yeah,
the Lizard King right here, and look at the colors on the lizard.
Amen. Yeah. This one took some time also, but I couldn't do it any other way. So I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
This is just gorgeous stuff, and this is for a Doors fan. This is
hands down. I wouldn't sell it to anybody who wasn't.
I'm the Lizard King. So that's all I downloaded, but holy crap, this is great stuff, Chris. This really is.
Thanks, man.
I'm going to stop the screen share.
Okay.
Really gorgeous looking stuff. I mean, this is, if you're a fan of rock, I mean, you are obviously a fan first.
Yes.
And I love over your right shoulder, you've got Lou Reed circa Transformer.
You got it. You got Lou here. That's the big period piece. Gary Clark Jr., one of my favorites. I can listen to Bright Light, Prune City all day, every day. There's another Jimmy. This is one of my favorites. Jimmy on a park bench. I was listening to Jethro Tull that day. So, Jimmy on a park bench. Yeah, I don't know. Again, there's some Eagles of Death Metal over there. John Wick, he's on the floor here. I don't know if you're
John Wick? Didn't see that coming.
We got some Wick.
Oh, that's badass.
Thanks, man. Keanu's the man, dude. The man.
That is badass.
This one, I went with a little bit more of almost like an anime style, if you will.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'm always trying to switch up styles, keep it different. I always say people always say, so how are you doing professionally? I don't say there's anything as a professional artist, because you should always be trying to be better and try different aspects and try different techniques. So to me, I'm never gonna finish learning. I'll be 100 years old and still try to find cool stuff to do. You know what I mean?
But that's the right attitude for sure. I agree with that 100%.
For sure.
So obviously you've been keeping busy.
Oh yes.
During lockdown.
Thank God, dude. Thank God people are still into the art scene during all this. So it's nice because I get messages from people who are saying thank you for keep doing this while all this quarantine's going on, keeping people positive, putting a lot of positive vibes out there, and that's what I'm all about, man. Just putting smiles on faces and making people's day, dude. It's nothing better than that than taking nothing, making something, and making somebody's day. There's nothing better.
Sure. It's funny. Not funny. It's just interesting. I had Anya from the band Ayatoya on a couple nights ago, and she was doing an art auction to benefit suicide prevention. Cool thing. And it really occurred to me in talking to her, and certainly as I'm talking to you, we're all spending so much more time at home now.
Yes.
For the past 6 months, we are really focused on making our homes more livable and pleasant. Original artwork goes a long way to making a home more comfortable and more personal, and it makes sense that people would be interested because they have to stare at the same four walls 24/7 now.
Yes.
So having something
at home all day, and plus they have nothing else. They have the time, and it gives people the time to find new artists. I'm getting so many new people who are just I wouldn't have found you if I wasn't sitting at home all day just searching. And now that I found you, it's the greatest. It's just such a great feeling, dude. It's an honor. It really is. I can't explain to you how awesome it is. So.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad you're busy. I'm glad people are still finding you. I hope more people find you after listening and watching tonight.
Yes. That's because of you, bud. Thanks.
Before I let you go, I know you. Do you have your Jerry Bryant piece?
I have two things I was going to say about this. So what we're going to do is, this is what I'm going to put past. I'm going to get in touch with you. This one's going to be just for him. This is for him. So you can give that to
Jerry Bryant of JBTV. Look at that.
JBTV.
Look at that.
He gets all that, guy. Jerry. So then that's a gift from me to him. What we're going to do is, I'll put a link to it too. It's going to be in, it's going to be one of them secret pages to start off. But you'll be added. And I'm going to do it's going to be we haven't decided it's going to be 5 or 10 days, but it's going to be just a live auction pretty much. Bid as you go, starting bid will be $25. What we're going to do is, it's a 1 of 1. It's your man. It's the image. It's a Bowie. It's on sheet metal. and it sits about 1.5 to 2 inches off the wall when you hang it up. So it gives that dimension. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this up for auction, and any money that comes in for this, we're gonna donate right to Jerry. So just
That's so cool.
Oh, hey, he's done more for the city. It's the least I can do, dude, for the music scene, for everybody. So
Damn, what a great piece too.
Oh, thank dude. I'm not gonna lie, I love this piece.
On metal. That's
sheet metal. And again, I wish I could. So much detail in this thing. Like if you guys get it, there's so much texture and detail. Whoever gets this piece, I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
That's awesome. All right. So again, before we stop the Facebook Live, if people want to find you, the non-secret groups, say it one more time.
Non-secret groups. It's going to be Chris Pienta Art on Instagram, Chris Pienta Art, and then on Facebook it's just Chris Pienta. From Instagram, there's a link in the description of my page that takes you to the Team Pienta shop. Team Pienta shop is where we're dropping the prints, and you can get original artwork right from there. And actually, on Team Pienta shop, the first Cornell and the Jimmy Blotter are up there right now as prints for sale. So
that's awesome.
You guys can grab them right now if you want.
Gorgeous stuff. All right, I want to thank everyone for watching on Facebook Live as we record this live. We're doing this every night. Tomorrow night, come back for the New Jersey band Shades Apart. They'll be joining me here at 9 p.m. tomorrow. That's Chris Pienta. He's awesome. Check out more of his stuff online. And we're going to stop the Facebook Live here on Car Cone